I'm so excited to be here today. We're going to do the next in a series that we have been doing all along around guided meditation and exercises. And today's is going to be specifically on body attunement. We're going to define what is body attunement, how can we get better at it so that we get healthier, how do we regulate ourselves in a kind of a different way. I've been aware of myself and my body, and I'm one of these people who has a high level of sensitivity to what I experience internally. I know that's not true for everyone. I've met a variety of people who have very different kind of internal experiences, but I happen to have a high level. But what I learned as I started to dig into this, that just like there's emotional intelligence and there's intelligence, like IQ, like smarts, there's also body intelligence. So you may be really good at reading the room or knowing what you are doing emotionally. Maybe you even have a lot of computing power with a fantastic memory and you're just really sophisticated, all of that. But it doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't translate over to body awareness, body attunement. I thought that was fascinating. So we're going to talk about what is it. There's actually 3 levels of a body attunement. There is awareness, your awareness of what's happening inside of your body. There's also knowledge of what that means. Just because you feel something, can you interpret it accurately? Can you make sense of it? And then what do you do about it? And it's called engagement. Do you use that information in a way that helps you, that builds you up and makes you healthier as a result? Or is it just information that you disregard and you drop? So we're going to explore all of that. And I'm going to first do a little bit of teaching and talking about it. Then we're going to actually do a live guided meditation together, something we've done before, but I'm going to ask you to do it in a little different way today. I'm Dr. Kerry Kerr McAvoy. I'm a licensed mental health clinician. I have over 20 years of counseling experience. I've been a private practitioner. I've had a private practice for most of my career, and then I retired that practice in 2015. And since recently, I've been more into writing, more into reflecting, and I love to do a lot of education. So I'm super jazzed to be here. So let's talk about what body attunement is. And I know if you've been here previously, you've heard me explain the fight or flight system multiple times. So I don't really want to rehash that unless there's those in the room who don't understand and would like me to revisit it. But what I would like to do is describe body attunement. And I'm going to stop for a second and ask you, please share and like this, because we get into doing a guided experience. You guys all get quiet. TikTok doesn't register that this is a very popular experience, and so does Instagram. And so then they just stop pushing it because no one's doing anything. So please like and share this. It really helps get attention to these things. Okay, so let's talk about body attunement. We're going to, for a moment, leave abuse to the side. We're just going to talk about body attunement. Every single one of us has a different degree of body BQ. Just like you have an IQ and you have an EQ, you have a BQ, a body quotient. How sophisticated you are when it comes to your sense of self, what you do with it, your ability to know what it means, and your ability to use it and do something constructive with it. So like I said, there are 3 pillars. So the first one is awareness. Are you aware of what's happening inside your body? Now, the problem with abuse survivors is that when we're being abused, especially when it's sexually or physically, and maybe even emotionally, part of our survival mechanism is to tune out. We literally numb ourselves as a way for preservation. You know, when you're being hurt, the best way to deal with the pain is just to numb the sensation. I don't feel pain. And you actually can get good at that. You can get very good at emotionally numbing out, but you also can get good at physically numbing out. So but to heal, I mean, that's not a good way to live. Let's give you an example why. Let's take leprosy, for example. Leprosy is a damage to the body's ability to have sensation. So when you have no sensation, then you don't know that you've been harmed. You don't know that you may have an infection in your leg. And then you're not going to go get treatment because you're unaware that your leg is in pain and puffy and in trouble. Or say you're out in the desert and you get hit by a snake bites you. If you have no body awareness, you're not going to be aware that you just got potentially poisoned to death. So body awareness is very critical because it's our body's natural way of saying, hey, something's going wrong. We need to stop and take a look at this. My question for you to think about is this: are you listening to your body? And when you feel a pain, are you aware of where the pain is located? And are you aware whether it's at a bone level? Is it a ligament or a tendon? Is it a muscle problem? Is it a skin or kind of like the surface area? Can you tell the differences of the pain that you're experiencing? That's the first level, awareness. How and then, okay, so maybe you're good at being aware of your limbs, like maybe you know what's going on with your legs and your arms, maybe you even know a little bit what's going on with your head, but can you tell your internal system? Are you aware that maybe your stomach's upset and know that that's different from kidney pain, which is in the back? Can you tell the difference to where maybe it's more gut or an intestinal pain, or whether it's your heart or your lungs that are bothering you? Can you kind of tell where the pain's occurring? Do you know the difference between bone pain, muscle pain, ligament pain, gut pain, organ pain? Can you tell the difference between kind of headaches? Do you know a difference between a migraine or a tension headache or maybe muscular headache? Are you aware of those types of things? So that's the first question, and this is called awareness. Awareness. Now, the second part of body attunement or body quotient is knowledge. So this gets tricky. We all think we know our bodies and we all think we know what's best. I mean, how many times have you ever talked to somebody who tells you that they have this problem and then they know the perfect cure and then they tell you what the cure is? Now, maybe they're right. Maybe it's a superstition that's been passed down. Maybe they've got it wrong. I'll be really vulnerably honest with you guys. I self-diagnose all the time. I mean, I have a PhD and I'm licensed to diagnose when it comes to mental health disorders. And somehow I think that should transfer over and I should be able to be good at diagnosing my physical problems, not other people's. I don't do that, but my own physical problems. So sometimes I'll go into the doctor and says, I think I have XYZ. I'll tell you, I'm never right. I'm never right. I mean, just because the internet, all this like symptoms, because I'm not an expert at knowing diseases, and there's lots of diseases, and there's nuances to how diseases present in the body. So my question is, if you are aware, say you have a muscle strain, maybe a thigh strain or something, are you able then to appropriately know what you should do? I mean, do you know how to get the help? Do you go seek medical advice? One of the problems with a lot of abuse victims, particularly if you've been an abuse victim out of childhood, and I experienced a lot of neglect in childhood. I am not good at reporting pain. I'm terrible. I will give you an example. After my I was in horrific back pain for years. For years. Finally, I went to a doctor and told them, and he said, "Well, how long has it been going on?" And I said, and I thought of my age of my second son. Oh, at the time, 23. And he looked at me, he goes, 23 years? You've been doing this for 23? Yeah, I'm doing this for 23 years. I found out he took an MRI and I had two bulging discs and I had arthritis down there. Like, I'm just like plugging along. So I'm what's called an under-reporter. Are you an under-reporter? A lot of abuse victims, because our pain has been minimized, because we've been devalued, because we've experienced a lot of gaslighting, we learn to distrust our experience. And then we don't use the awareness to get knowledge. We don't seek help. We don't necessarily do the things we know we do. Or, you should be drinking water. Are you drinking water? You need to eat a healthy diet. Are you eating a healthy diet? Are you consciously making like do you know what a healthy diet is? Like my husband didn't know what a fever was. So he didn't have good awareness, and then he didn't have a knowledge either. So that's pillar number 2. Pillar number 1 is awareness. Do you have body awareness? This number 2 is, do you have knowledge? Are you using the knowledge? Do you know how to get diagnosed? Do you believe what you hear when okay, so let's very vulnerably, doctors always don't get it right. Sometimes do you trust yourself enough to know that if one doctor gave you bad advice that you need to get a second opinion? Are you good at doing those types of things? Do you seek out? Do you have a sense something's wrong and keep at it till you start to feel better? Okay, so then pillar number 3 is this, engagement. This is when we know what we're supposed to be doing and we don't do it. All right, this is March 2nd, so we all probably made some New Year's resolution about what we're gonna do to take better care of ourselves this year. Like, maybe you said you're gonna walk more. Maybe you said you're gonna be drinking more water. Maybe you said you're gonna limit your contact with amount of social media that you're on. Something. You probably made some kind of "I'm gonna be healthier" plan this year. How many of us are still sticking to it? That's engagement. So that's why you may get an idea that you wanna do XYZ differently, and then when it comes to actually doing it, you start to fall off. You start to, like, let it go. We may have good awareness. We may even know what's gonna be helpful, and then we start to fall apart at engagement. We don't do well at engagement. So I really wanna challenge you all to assess how you can make changes at all of these levels. How can you become better attuned at an awareness level? So let me give you some suggestions. If you experience a pain and you do the right thing and you get help for it, and someone says to you, "Oh, this is the knee. This is the meniscus part of your knee." I want you then to say, "Okay, now I know what that feels like. So when I feel that again, I have that information." Or maybe you've ended up with COVID and you felt that feeling that you had in your chest and everything and how it was different from a cold. You can say to yourself, "Okay, now I know when something settles in my lungs, it feels more like this." Or maybe you strained a muscle and you go into the doctor and they say, "No, actually, you broke a bone or you sprained a joint." Then you can say to yourself, "Okay, now I know a difference between a muscle pain and a bone or joint is this." So in other words, build on what you're learning. Take in the information around you and then use that to augment your knowledge about yourself. So that's how you can improve awareness. How we can improve knowledge is this: be open. You may not be the final word, and be really careful where you're pulling your information from. I don't know how many, even with narcissistic abuse, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Do you know that the source that you're getting it from is credible? Do they have education? Are they backing it up with research and sources? Or it's just a theory? Let me give you a for instance. Like, I know right now we're comparing the trauma bond to an addiction, but is there hard research for that? And I'm not saying it's not very, very difficult. It is difficult to break a trauma bond, and it probably does feel like an addiction. But when you have somebody who's kind of like making the claim of that, this big, large, swooping, like, use the addiction model to break up trauma bond. Well, is that really credible? And where's their source to getting that from? So do your homework is what I'm suggesting. And get good advice. Like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with holistic, but also make sure that you seek multiple sources of information. Just make sure to really be savvy when it comes to being your own advocate. And then the hard part is stage 3 is the last one, which is engagement. It takes sheer discipline, it takes good strategy, it takes and be reasonable. One of the reasons we fail when we start something new is because we bite off too much. We say to ourselves, "I'm gonna drink 8 glasses of water every day." Well, you know what? If you're not even getting 2 glasses of water in a day, getting 8 is gonna be really hard work. So you may wanna say, "I'm gonna, like, if I do 2, I'm gonna go 2.5, do 2.5 for a few weeks and see how that, and then go to 3 cups a day." In other words, take it in incremental small bites. You've heard of the analogy, how does someone eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's how they do that. That's the same with this. So when you see something kind of that's off and you really want massive change, how you make a massive change is you make incremental, successful, small changes that then eventually add up in a cumulative form to make a large change. That's how I've done most big things in my life. That's how I wrote the book. That's how I finished my dissertation. That's how I've done a lot of very difficult things. Was I took a big goal, broke it into tiny, like, survivable bite-sized chunks, and then consistently approached it day after day after day. And before you knew it, you have these big projects. You have, books that are 80 plus thousand words long. Actually, my first draft was 130,000 words long, written. So it's that kind of a process. It's when we get overly overly ambitious or get impatient. That's another problem. We get impatient that we end up sabotaging and then having nothing happen that we really, really want to have happen. So just remember, tiny, even like say that, for example, your house, maybe you're struggling with hoarding, okay? And you really like to have your house in a different state. Take one corner on one shelf each day and then incrementally work through the house like it's just like that, just tiny. This is what I say. What can I do in 15 to 30 minutes? That's all I do. I do whatever I can within a day, literally a day, because first of all, I don't want to do it. It's miserable. So if I just say, and if I enjoy doing it, I don't want to stop at the end of it. I can keep going. But if I decide that I don't want to, I stop. I walk away and then I do it again the next time. Just increment. That's the dissertation. Ugh. I mean, who wants to write a dissertation? Seriously. I didn't, but that's how I did it. Incremental, bite-sized challenges. Okay, so awareness, knowledge, and engagement are the three things to success. So let's now do a exercise. I'm going to lead you through a guided breath exercise. It's a relaxation technique. It's something you guys can do anytime that you want that feels, if you're feeling tense or worked up. But I want to add an extra piece of homework to this today. Because we're talking about body attunement, I'd like you to, as we become aware of each part of your body, I want you to ask yourself, check in with yourself in a curious, non-judgmental way. What am I feeling there? What sensations come up? What memories come up? Whatever, just pay attention. Just be interested, be curious, be playfully curious about this. And then we'll talk about it when we're done. And then if there's time left over, we'll talk about other issues because I haven't had my glasses on, so I can't read what you guys are writing because I really wanted to focus on what I had to say. I don't know. Doing lives is is a lot of like concentration work, really challenging. So when we get done, if we have time, we'll come back and we'll talk about your issues after we talk about what this experience was like. Okay. I know I'm at a desk, so my setting is not very, very conducive. Maybe your setting's not, but that doesn't mean we can't do this together. So if you're at work or something and it's going to take about 10 minutes, maybe you can close the door. Maybe you can kind of even dim the lights in your office as you can. Or if you're home, maybe you can turn on a show for the kids, find a way for you to carve a little space out for yourself. And then you'll be back with it in about 10 minutes. All right. So, okay, get comfortable. I'd like to have you have your back against the back of the chair. So you're kind of leaning back against the chair. Put your hands down on your side, or maybe rest them on the arm of your chair, or rest them on the desk, front desk. And if your eyes want to close, let them close. And then let's take a nice deep breath together. All right, let it out. Let's do another one. You just fill up. You want to feel all your rib cages expand and then let it out. Nice, let it out. Now we're going to start pacing our breaths. Like inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll hold and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just let your breathing find a nice pace, a nice relaxed pace, a nice slow inhales. You'll pause for a second at the top and then nice slow exhale. And as you're doing that, you're going to let go of today's stress. What's on your plate today? The tasks that are waiting. You're going to just right now focus on my voice and you're going to be listening to your breath. Feel your rib cage expand and contract. You may hear some distracting noises, but you're going to focus on this moment, on the peacefulness in this moment, on my voice, and on your breathing. You're feeling relaxed, at peace, and you're feeling safe. You're starting to feel some warm tingling in your fingertips and at the bottom of your toes. and it's growing and it's moving up into your hands. You feel it starting in the center of your gut, and it's filling you, expanding, and taking space. This is your space. This is a peaceful space. And you're just breathing and exhaling and inhaling and owning and filling this space. You're feeling warm and tingly, and warmer and more warmer. You can feel your back against the chair, your bottom against the bottom of the seat, and your feet firmly on the ground. Your hands are relaxed. Now take your feet, and I want you to curl your feet into a ball as tight as you can. Curl them right up, tight, 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 tight. Curl them up. Feel the strain, nice and tight. Now expand them and drop them. Relax. Just let them go. Notice what you're feeling in your feet, in your toes, your arches, your ankle. Note it with curiosity. What's it feeling like today? Is there tenderness or tension? Are you feeling any distress or pain? And make a mental note of it to revisit it later. Now, I want you to pull your feet up and tighten the front of your legs. Tighten your shins area. Stretch your back of your calves and pull them hard, tight up, 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 to pull them tight. Now drop it and feel the relief flood into those front muscles of your shin area. How does your shin and calves feel? What are you feeling in the back of your calves, where it connects to your knee, connects to your ankle? Anything that you want to make note of that's different or feels not quite you. Now I want you to tighten your thighs, nice and tight. Really tighten your quads, really tight. Strain them. I want tight, tight. And then relax. Feel the warmth flood into those muscles with the relaxation. Are they tender? Is there any tension around your kneecap or near your hips? Maybe something in the back of your quads or hamstrings. Make a mental note of it to come back to later to explore. All right, now to tighten your glutes. Let's tighten them up. Ball them right up on your chair. Tight, tight, tight. Real tight. Okay, release. Release. Just let that go. What's the sensations you have with that area? What thoughts or feelings does it evoke? Are you comfortable with this area? Or does it feel like foreign space to you? Now I want you to clench your stomach, really to clench it, like you're getting ready for someone to punch you. Make it as tight as you can. Really clench it tight, tight, tight. And relax. Feel it nice and open and relaxed. What's that feel like? How's your gut feel? Is there heaviness in it? Any twinges, anything off or uncomfortable? Now I want you to tighten your shoulders up, really tight to your head, right up tight to your neck. Tight, tight, tight. Draw them right up next to your neck. Really tight. And drop. Let them drop right down. You notice that you drop them back and down and get them nice and relaxed. How are your shoulders feeling? Are they heavy? Have they been tense? Are you feeling any pain there? Now I want you to ball up your fist in your wrist and forearms, just tight like you're going to Want to haul off on somebody, just really tight, 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 and then release. How does your joints feel in your fingers, in your palms? How does your forearms feel? Is there anything that you're noticing there that's unusual? Now we're going to tighten our face. I want you, no one's looking, you're by yourself. I can't see you. I want you to tighten your face. I want to grimace it really hard. Tight, tight, tight. And then relax. What are you sensing in your face? The back of your neck. Take another deep breath in and hold it and let it out. Let's breathe again. Hold it and exhale. Just notice how you're feeling right now, this place. Feel yourself lean heavily against your back, against the back of your seat. Your bottom heavily on the bottom of the chair, and your feet heavily on the floor. I want you to enjoy this space, this safety. This is yours. This calmness, this peace, this is yours. Okay, we're going to take another deep breath. Hold it and exhale. And we're going to start to move our fingers and toes. We're going to start to open our eyes if we had them shut. We're going to maybe roll our shoulders and start to come back and become aware. And let's talk about this. I know you're still coming to, but I'd love to know what you thought and how this was today. And how did you feel doing this? What was comfortable? What was not comfortable? Did you learn something about yourself? Or maybe there's something about body attunement. If you've caught the first part of this today, we talked about awareness, knowledge, and engagement of body quotient. How intelligent are you with your body awareness? Maybe there's something you didn't understand, or maybe you found really confusing, or maybe it really shocked you and puzzled you. I'd love to hear more about this. I'm launching a new group experience, and we will do these actively in this group. It's going to be one live a week with this group, where video, so that you could be live with me and we could be talking. Will also be group support. You also have access to other benefits inside of it. If you're interested in learning more about this upcoming group, it's going to be 2 tiers. Please make sure that you check out the first link. Check out the link in my bio. And I'm super excited about it, because the energy that I've been devoting towards just general public, I'm going to kind of remove half of that energy and push it all into this group. I'm going to really devote a lot of myself to this group. So I'm very, very excited about it. So if you found this helpful, maybe something is really in line with that. So if you like this kind of experience that we had near the end, when it's more intimate, and imagine you get to see me, we can actually look at each other and talk to each other. Please make sure that check out my membership. It's going to be amazing. You have direct contact with a narcissist, direct contact with a psychologist, as well as support from a community, and all sorts of stuff that's going to happen in this group. I'm very, very excited about launching it. All right, you guys, you rock. I love you all so much. Bye-bye.